did you have no other choice but to crash out? I visited my mom at her specialized care home for the first time and immediately realized they were doing something to her. My dementia-stricken mother was in a wheelchair she didn't need, wearing a food-stained gown that smelled like urine, her red emergency button unplugged. She backed away thinking I was a nurse when she saw me. I looked at her whiteboard and saw the last cleaned section was time-stamped 4 days ago. I found the first nurse I could, some woman named Sandra, who was scrolling through her phone at the nurse's station. Excuse me, why hasn't my mother been bathed in 4 days? She glanced up just enough to respond. She had a rough night earlier this week, hasn't let us come near her since. You know how dementia is. Something about her reply went rehearsed, so I went back to where mom was and started examining. I found her medication log that showed gaps spanning days at a time. I went to the front desk and took her visitor log, where I found notes about her incidents, like missed meals or fainting, each one being attributed to a rough night. The pattern was obvious. I found the head nurse, Linda, doing paperwork in the break room. Why is my mother's care documentation showing neglect? She looked at me like I'd insulted her. Those are just paperwork requirements. We focus on actual care here, not filling out forms all day. Maybe if families visited more often, you'd understand how hard this job is. I'm visiting now, and I'm seeing neglect. We're not miracle workers. We try our best. The documentation doesn't reflect the effort we put in. I remember rage consumed my body, and I realized if they wanted to play it that way, I'd document everything myself. I signed myself out at the visitor log to make it look like I was leaving, but proceeded to actually stay for the entire day. I was careful not to let the nurses I'd spoken to see me. That's when I saw it all. At lunch, they brought mom a tray with a panini roll with moldy bread. The plastic bottle of water was swished and had an odor coming from it. Around 3 p.m., I watched them give mom and 3 other residents their afternoon medications. The nurse who gave them looked around almost as if making sure nobody was watching, then went into mom's closet and started rummaging through. She stayed for about a minute before putting everything back and leaving. When she turned the corner, I rushed in to check. My mom was drooling and barely responsive, and when I went through her closet myself, I noticed her valuable belongings box had been slightly moved. I checked it, and that's when I saw her wedding ring was gone, the one dad gave her 52 years ago. I was fuming. I marched straight to the nurse that did this. Where's her ring? I demanded, but she also had a rehearsed response. We file reports, but things go missing with 40 residents. You should have left it at home. We're not responsible for valuables. It was at that exact moment I realized why all the cameras in the rooms pointed away from the closets. I decided I was done being nice. I scheduled an emergency meeting with the facility director for the next morning. I brought every bit of proof I had, but Mr. Waters, the director, leaned back in his leather chair and sighed like I was wasting his time. I'm sorry to hear that, but these people with dementia don't even know what year it is. Are you sure your mom didn't just give that ring away and forget? I sat there baffled, watching him explain everything away. The state allows a certain margin for food expiration dates. The medications are within legal dosing. The policy on our website. He was smiling that corporate smile the whole time, like he was robbing us blind and knew we couldn't do anything about it. Then he dropped the bomb. Besides, your mother signed a comfort care waiver when she was admitted. My eyes damn near exploded. She has dementia. She couldn't consent to that. She was lucid enough to sign. That's when I crashed out. I pulled out my phone right there in his office, maintaining eye contact the entire time. Hi, Adult Protective Services. I need to report systematic abuse and financial exploitation right here at Serenity Gardens Memory Care. Mr. Waters' face went white in a second. Now wait a minute. Let's not be hasty. I have video evidence of expired food being served, theft of personal belongings, and documentation of heavy sedatives being used for staff convenience. I could see him across the table from me, now sweating and basically pleading for this life. Please hang up. We can work this out internally. I had no idea this was happening. Other families in the waiting room started listening. One woman stood up. Did you mention things being stolen? My father's watch went missing last month. Mr. Waters was beyond scrambling, trying to put out 10 different fires at once. I'll refund everything. We'll fire those staff members immediately. Please, I stayed on the phone. Yes, I'll hold for the emergency intervention team. Mr. Waters was now trying to close his office door as other families approached. What do you want? Free care? A full refund? Please, this will destroy us. Sweat was literally dripping from his forehead as the officer's voice came through the speaker, loud and clear. Ma'am, we're dispatching a team now. Do not leave the facility. State investigators are en route. Mr. Waters reached for my phone, desperate. Full story on channel linked below.